Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, so for those of you online, we are in a different room today than we normally are. And what a perfect song, right? Because it's all about change and everything's just a little off. I don't know. Which is absolutely perfect. That's what I've got to say. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah, because, sometimes the world seems a little bit off too, right? I mean, come on. But it's still all good, as we all know, because it's all good. And the one thing that we know is change. So this month, we're taking our change of good, of plenty, of abundance, of gratitude. We're taking it to the street, so to speak, with a capital G. And that's because this month it's all about how we can up-level our thinking, how we can become more aware of our good, aware of everything from the eyes of our spiritualness and not from our doingness. And what I have found for me is that when I'm walking my talk, when I'm living from that place of gratitude and that place of knowing that the divine, whatever you call it, is experiencing its creation as I'm experiencing my life, when I go into the world with that knowledge, it's amazing what can happen. And that's kind of why we gather here together, right? Is to support each other in knowing that good, knowing that divinity, knowing that we're just magnetized individuals, attracting to us always our good. And that is our focus of the day today. That idea of we are already filled with good. We have more good in our life than we know, than we appreciate and we acknowledge on a regular basis. We truly do. But as we start to focus on it, we get to attract more. So I want to start off today. Jeff, there's a slide for us to put up. I want to begin with something out of Matthew from Jesus. So just listen to this one. For to him who has, it shall be given, and it shall increase to him. But he who has not, even that which he has shall be taken away from him. How's that for some harsh words, right? I mean, that's just harsh. This comes at the end of the story of the talents, right? Where the master goes away and he gives his servants talents, and two of the servants do good work with the talents, and one hides it because it's afraid, right, of losing. And so the idea of hiding your good, not sharing your good, a talent at that point was money, but any good. It's not about hiding it. It's about sharing it. And so when we look at it from that perspective, that isn't a harsh statement at all. That is a science of mind statement. Think about it. What we focus on expands. To us who have good, more good shall come because we are focusing on that good. We're not focusing on fear and worry and doubt. We're not thinking about there's not enough, so let me just hide away. No, we're suiting up and we're showing up and we are taking our life full expression to the street. If you think about it, that's why we love hanging out with each other, right? Because of that. Because we appreciate and know what we have, which is a consciousness of abundance. And when we start to sense and feel that fear, that worry, that lack, when we start to sense that come in, we have spiritual tools at our disposal that allow us to flip it. We have spiritual friends and prayer partners and practitioners that help us remember who and whose we are. That is our truth, that consciousness of abundance. It's not about never getting out of the flow, because, come on guys, we're human, right? We get out of the flow. But we don't have to hang out there. We get to come right back in. So, let's put a science of mind spin on this, shall we? Jeff, we got another slide. So, let's rewrite this. It's all about a consciousness of plenty, right? It's about when we have a consciousness of plenty, all shall be given to us. Why? Because we are willing and ready to accept it. And it's going to increase to ourselves. And if we don't have that consciousness of plenty, of course, we're going to start losing things. Because we're not valuing it. We're not focusing on the goodness. Does that make sense? It's not really a harsh statement at all. It is what you think about is what comes about. Right? It's about remembering our truth. And that truth is that each of us is always attracting to us. We're each magnetizing to us that which we put out there. And so it's all about, in my opinion, putting out good. Good deeds, good vibes, good attitude. Just good. Good work. And I am not going to tell you that any of that is easy, because it's not. It's really not. In fact, in today's world of doing and doing and doing and doing, because we're all doing, it's kind of hard to even take one day at a time, right? Sometimes taking one day at a time is just, wow, that just seems like such a big task. But when we do that, when we allow ourselves to be in the present moment, to take that one day, this very moment, and just be fully present for it, then the kingdom truly is ours, right here, right now, right the way we are. When we shift our perspective from looking at the whole pie and how we're going to attack the whole pie, right? When we look at the news and all of that and how is all of this going to all work out, when we stop doing that and we start looking at what is mine to do right now, we're allowing ourselves to be empowered. And we are also empowering others. And that right there is what's going to ensure that there's truly a bright future. And it's not out there. It's right here at hand, right here and right now. When we live in the now, there's so many benefits. But let me give you 3. It allows us to shift our focus to one of abundance. Because when I'm living right here and right now, I can breathe and I can appreciate who I am and who you are. And I can take time to listen and to understand and to ask those questions. Remembering that we're all one. We're all from that divine expression of it. And when I'm like taking it right here and right now, I am not full of worry about what's going to be. And I'm not full of regret of what's already happened. Because I'm right here. I'm right here in the now. It also opens us up to the possibilities of what if. Because when we are fully present, we get to see not only our good is at hand, but we get to see everybody else's good that it's at hand. And we get to appreciate everyone else's good. And we get to see the possibilities. Have you ever just talk to somebody to find out what they do, and it's like, you really do that for a living? That's incredible. I never thought that people did that, think about all of the interesting jobs that people have. When we allow ourselves to live in the now, that possibility of who everyone else is and why they do what they do becomes so much more interesting. And we get to connect at a deeper level, and those connections are always full of possibilities. And when we're in the now, we are aligned in our flow, right? Because we recognize that we're standing in it, we're swimming in it. When we live in the now, that mental chatter kind of leaves us a little bit. Yeah? I mean, you can't be now, here in the now, and have your mind like going a gazillion miles an hour, because I'm like right here. There was a story in Better Homes and Garden, and it was about this woman named Angela. And at the beginning of the pandemic, she lost her job. And so she's home, and she starts to try to appreciate life and what she's got, and decided that she would start just being in the present. So she would take walks, and she would talk to neighbors from a distance that she had never met before. And she started to appreciate the beauty in the small things and decided to start a garden. And her gardening project was more about herbs than flowers. And so she would give them to neighbors. She would leave them with people. And today she has a thriving business where she sells seeds online and sells her herbs to restaurants, and she's even expanded into flowers. It was her curiosity, her generosity, and her willingness to step out of fear and just be in the present that allowed her to have a life-changing experience. Being fully present, not worrying about what am I going to do, because I'll tell you, finding a job during the pandemic, it was hard. I didn't do it, but I had friends that did it. It was not a fun thing. But look at how she just changed things around by being fully present. We have so much good to give in wild and wonderful ways that we haven't even started to explore yet. So today, I want to look at a couple of things. I want to look at that idea of being curious, of being full of gratitude, and most importantly, doing good work. Or getting into good trouble, depending on how you want to look at it. They both work. But curiosity. Curiosity, to me, is what invites us to be an active participant in life. You can't be curious and just sit on the sideline, right? When we are curious, we're just seeing the wonders as they unfold in front of us. We seek them out, actually. We're not passively observing anymore. We're participating in life. And when we cultivate that curiosity, when we allow ourselves the time and space, because it takes time to be curious, right? We have to be willing to come back to now and talk about now. When we do that, our space opens up, because now we're stepping outside of our daily routine. We're expanding ourselves. So here's a couple of ways to be more curious. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what is the one thing I learned today that I did not know yesterday? What is that one thing? That one unique thing. Maybe it was a pattern on a leaf. Maybe it was the sound of a bird. Maybe you got to see a flock go south without you. Because, yeah, there's that. But it's about getting into that habit of discovery. And as we do that, we find out that we have more than just one thing at the end of every day. And it's also about asking open-ended questions, not only to others, but to oneself. It's about taking a moment to ponder, right? what can I learn from this situation? Why did I decide to do this? Open-ended questions such as, right here and right now, what is the most interesting thing to me? Or even, what am I feeling right now? That's a big question, right? But when we start to see that, there's opportunities that show up because we're taking ourselves out of here, out of doing, and we're asking these open-ended questions to our brain. When was the last time you took a walk in nature and you were just so curious that you were willing to pick up that leaf? Or better yet, kick them all into a pile and just let them make all of the noise they could. When was the last time you took a walk in nature and you just stood still for a moment and felt the air around you and noticed how that sun felt on your face? Those curiosity kinds of walks, they're so nurturing to one's soul. And it doesn't have to be a long walk. It could be from your house to the mailbox and back, right? That could be the extent of a curiosity walk. Albert Einstein once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing." Curiosity, it's not just an intellectual pursuit. It's just not about learning more. But it's an invitation to the wonder of the world, to the wonder of our life, to the wonder of creation that created all of us. Which takes us right to that powerful tool of gratitude. There is no faster way to get out of one's own way and out of one's own head than to just be grateful for this breath. That's it, just this breath. You don't have to worry about the next one. It is such, I don't know, it's so powerful to appreciate what we already have, and we don't need anything to do it. We don't need any special pose or books or music or place. We can just right here and right now say, I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful right now for all of us in this room. I'm grateful for this different room. I'm really grateful the microphone's working. I mean, think about all of the things right here, right now, in this moment, we're grateful for. I'm grateful knowing that there's a table full of pumpkin goodness, like 20 minutes away from me. Gratitude. Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all others. Kind of starts and ends with gratitude. It's the foundation for everything. And it's so easy to come back to that basic idea. It's so easy to get out of our head and into our heart and to really just be. Which takes us to right action. Right action is that thing that bridges our intention to our manifestation, right? Between our intention and our manifestation, action has to happen. And often we don't know what that action should be. But we can always find one small step to take, right? Just one small step, right here and right now, that'll move us forward. We can start our day with aligning ourselves with some additional things we're going to do. And maybe they don't really serve a purpose other than just to allow us to be. Like that 5-minute curiosity walk. We can set intentions for our day, that our actions for that day, I should say, that are small and might be meaningless to others, but they could be so meaningful for us, right? I mean, we had an intention set last night, right? To learn a new song. Look at how much we appreciated it today. So when we think about things that we set intention to do for ourselves, you never know who all is going to benefit. You just never know who is going to benefit and what the catalyst for change is that you can generate from someone else by just taking a step. Not a leap, but a step. Isaac Newton once said that if two angels were to come down to earth, and one was to lead a great nation, and the other was a street sweeper, they wouldn't care which position they got, because they were able to do what was theirs to do, to brighten the world, to bring a little bit of joy, and to deepen and expand the understanding of what life is all about, which is all about love. It's all about love. I love that idea. Whether you're ruling the world or an empire or a company, or whether you're just taking out the trash, all of it brings joy. All of it allows us to be a beacon of that light and to attract more of our good to us. The more good we attract to us, not only the better our life gets, but the more good we have to give. And it is in that giving that we get to receive more. And before you know it, we're just all so abundant in so many ways. That is why we talk in this center about tithing, about giving of our money. Because when people think about abundance, right, most of us think about moolah. And moolah's not necessarily important, but it can really make things a little lighter and a little softer, right? It's just a form of energy. It's a form of energy that sometimes we put too much emphasis on. And so we tend to hide it, to store it up. But when we're giving it freely and lovingly, like we do here on Sundays, like those of us who have regular recurring payments, when we do that, when we step up in a time of need for others with our time, our talent, and our cash, when we do that, we're opening up the flow for oh so much more. The more you give, the more you receive, pressed down, multiplied, running over, and that is for every aspect of life. Every aspect. But it starts with being present in the now and seeing what good is around you as well as what need is around you. And then being curious about it, remembering that we're all connected. And then gratefully taking right action. Right action. And I would like to remind us that right action also means right self-care. Because as we enter the holidays, there's a lot of doing. But self-care is where it starts. And the more we care for ourselves, the more we have to care for others. And then the more ways we give others to care for us. You see that circle? That circle starts in the now. It is multiplied with gratitude. It is expanded with curiosity. And with right action, it speeds the whole process up. So, here's your assignment this week. Here's a couple of ideas. I would invite you to take one of these and implement it for 7 days. 7 days. In the morning, a gratitude ritual. Like, what are you grateful for right now? Midday, take a curiosity lunch. Take a walk. Just doesn't have to be far. In the afternoon, just take a small action. Take a small step towards one of your intentions. Not a big leap, a small step. In the evening, do a journal. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Be excited. 3 things you want to celebrate. And at the end of the day, think about, what is the one thing I can do tomorrow? What's that one little thing I can do for me? I'd like to add that. What is the one thing I can do for me tomorrow? Just for me. Pick one, 7 days, and see how it flows. See how the week goes, how it feels to be full of gratitude, of curiosity, of right action, how it feels to right here and right now celebrate all that is and all that will be. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, wrote, "We must create a mental equivalent of success if we wish to express success. We can never attract more good than we mentally accept. We become magnets for good when we learn to see it, feel it, claim it consciously. In our consciousness, we feel it, we see it, we claim it right here and right now, knowing that it's already on its way, which is why we can say thank you in the now." Rumi. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are on and you're used to is better than what's to come? We just don't know. What we do know is that we have the now. We have this moment to love, to appreciate, to express, to share, and to recognize. Recognize the goodness and the abundance, not only in our life, but in everybody else's life. You know, let's focus on that. Let us just focus on the good, consciously. Give it a try. There's your action list, or at least there it was. I don't know if it's still there. That's it. Namaste.